here we're going into the stables. So this starts to speak to La Llorona's, the version of the story in the Southwest when she has to wear a horse's head. And you can smell the stable, actually. Oh, there is the sun cannon. Yep, right here. So that's a typical sun cannon. It's got a little fan in it, a cartridge.
It's unreal.
It smells just blows. Yep. There's companies we work with that create scents.
Back in Tennessee right now.
Yeah. They're usually really awful smells.
Well, I'm from Tennessee originally, so we have a lot of farms and stuff.
You're right at home.
There's a few nice ones this year, like Silent Hill has Cotton Candy and the Robbie the Rabbit scene. But here, as you're going in, you're just hearing the sound of horses that are agitated and nervous, and the huge subwoofer speaker making the sound of the horses. And that's just to set you up for this double sphere. So there's performers with horses' heads on either side and a huge platform, so they can go the whole length of it and stalk you as you're going, one on one side, one on the other.
Wow.
And they both have something here. There's your trigger. Oh, right down here. So they have the ability to trigger their own lighting and audio as well.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
They can control their own stuff.
And then from there we go to the Carniceria, which also has its own smell, which I think is turned off right now, thankfully, because it smells awful. It smells like dead pigs. And this is a good example of something we've used and repurposed. And this is from Saw. Originally, when we did Saw, we had these pigs.
That's the first thing I thought of was Saw.
Yeah, these were in one scene in Saw a few years ago. It's a good example of how much Guest jacked stuff up.
Wow.
He's lost his one leg here, one arm here. He's supposed to look like that, but everything's so hands-on with Horror Nights. You can just touch stuff, you can reach out and grab stuff. So everything in it, because you wouldn't want to walk away with a big meat cleaver. Everything's attached. You can't take anything with you. I think these were from Texas Chainsaw Massacre the first time we did it. Yeah. So I know that cow head is. You start to recognize props. And the whole point of the reason the positioning of the pigs is people aren't going to want to touch this pig, so they're going to go where you are, and that's right in line with where the performer's waiting for you.
Yeah.
So we're trying to steer you by putting obstacles in your path towards the spot that you don't want to go to.
That's right.
So cool. Scenically, this maze is pretty darn cool. Every single scene is crazy, Adobe
so much
texture
detail.
with brick. Yeah, there's a lot of detail. And one of the things my art director Chris does right before we open, he'll go through and he'll just grab every single thing and try to take it with him. And if he can take it, he goes back to the prop crew and goes, "You didn't do a good job."
Yeah.
Reattach, because that's what our guests will do. They'll grab, touch, everything.
Yeah.
And then the major changes to this maze take place in her house when she goes to her house. Last year, the finale was actually the scene around the corner, but this is another kind of cool illusion with the day, with the light coming in, you can see through this, but this is another scrim screen. It looks like a painting, and then we light behind it, and you can see this decomposed version of her, and then it blacks out, and then she can open the window and come through and get her. Oh yeah, there's the prop. This is his mother's
his mother?
confirmation, or no, looks like first communion maybe, or either that or confirmation. But that's his mom.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's his mom too. Yeah, this is all stuff that he didn't know existed, so he copied it all, and she became La Llorona for our maze, which is, I don't know how she'd feel about that. But it's kind of cool. He got all these great images. And this was the finale last year, and now it's the start of the last section.
You ready?
So we treated the house this year as if, the way the story's told typically is either a mother or a grandmother will tell the kids. And it's essentially, the whole point of the story is to control your children and make them afraid of things you don't want them to do. So typically, a mother in Mexico would say, don't go out at night or La Llorona's going to get you. Don't go down by the river or La Llorona's going to get you. So as we started to look at how to change this maze this year, I like the idea of a child's nightmare of La Llorona. Like, what would, obviously, if this child's been told this horrible story, they must have terrible nightmares about this creature that's waiting for them in the dark.
Right.
So we took it a little bit more supernatural this year with these giant-sized versions of her that were, and in this case, she's eating a little girl in the bed. So the performer here has her legs up in the mouth, and all night long,
she's probably like,
she's trying to free herself from this.
Nice. That's awesome.
And then
What an
there's another
effect.
performer. This is a hidden sliding door. So there's another one. She's got the ability to, and we always give them little peek holes so they can see. So they can see you guys and you can't see them. And
That's awesome.
yeah, this is a pretty wild scene. And then it just gets weirder from this point.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
That's why I was like, I really want to see it up close, but I don't want to give it away for Brad. But you'll still get scared, so
Yeah.
I'm not worried.
And so this is a puppeted effect. So
Whoa.
there's a performer back here.
That's awesome.
That has the ability to see you guys, but you can't see the puppeteer because he's got a little camera on this position and a monitor. So he's just sitting there all night looking at that monitor,
That's insane.
and he can make the head turn left, right, up, down. It's also got a nozzle hidden in its mouth that can spray compressed air and water at you. So it's kind of like a giant video game. You can just all night long, go to
So
town with
cool.
it. So as soon as you step through, you just saw that creature. As soon as you step through the curtain, you get hit
You
by
get it
this
again.
creature, and then a whole bunch more pictures of his family.
That is so cool.
This is really awesome.
Yeah, it's really wild. It's kind of cool to rediscover this family's history in making stuff. And then there's another window gag. At night, this looks solid, and then
Is that right?
she has the ability to, then we light through it, and you can see the performer, and then it goes dark. And that's her cue to open it and attack, and then the lights come back on. So it's all a bunch of programmed lighting.
I would say before each night, you guys have to do like a lighting check and make
Yep.
sure everything.
We have lighting people here every night.
Because it's intense. I mean, lighting is
yeah.
everywhere.
Oh yeah, and everything's black wrapped to give it the light
Yeah.
exactly where we want it and nowhere else.
Yeah.
So lighting takes the longest.
I
Lighting,
bet.
audio is a little different. I build all the audio with my audio designers in the studio offsite, and that takes hundreds of hours just to create all the audio. But I do it all with them. And then once we get here, we're mostly just adjusting the volume.
Sure.
To bring this up, bring that down, give me this here, give me that there. But lighting, you can't do that with. Lighting takes hours and hours and hours and hours and hours.
Of course.
And it's a fine line for us because our sets are so detailed, we want to see them, but at the same time we want it dark and creepy.
Yeah.
So it's a real balance finding the right approach to lighting a maze. Like the lighting designer in this maze was new this year. She had never worked with us. So the first time we came in, we're like, oh no. She was way down to get this way down, change this, change that. But most of our lighting designers have worked with us for multiple years.
That's cool.
So they kind of know, there's a shorthand that exists between us that they know what
We got to take the
how we
light away.
like to see.
Yeah. Good to see that happening.
And then this is the piece de resistance for La Llorona. This is the part 2 of the scene earlier. So this is the giant La Llorona that's eaten that girl we saw earlier, and this is an animated figure. So it kicks and the head moves, and it looks like she's eating the child all night long. Through giant hands. That's what I love about this. We have a couple of different makeup artists we work with. One is does all the general makeup, all the masks and prosthetics, and then we have a specialty guy that we work with that does more of the big creature stuff. So he would kick, and they kick individually, so they look real. I came through last night and I was like, it's not working. I'm hoping it's been fixed and it's working tonight. The stuff always works.
Wow.
It's still so creepy, even if it's just staring at you.
Unbelievable.
But it's a pretty darn freaky one.
So detailed. The hands are scary.
Yeah, the hands are
It's
pretty
just so
crazy.
insane.
It's very Evil Dead looking.
Yeah, it's very well done. Ugh,
Yeah.
guts.
Poor baby. Poor child didn't make it.
Didn't make it at all.
Yeah.
Ew.
It's nasty stuff.
It is. It's awesome though.
And this is what we would call it's kind of what we call the final scare. But whenever we do a finale scene, we always want to, get you one more time or multiple times. So you think that's probably it, and then this thing's coming at you next.
Grief.
this giant version of her, and it's there's a guy inside it, and he's got the ability to puppet the hands and move it. So he's actually looking through here. There it is. Stay while you're on. So the hands come through the wall. It's just this giant crazy thing. Another good example of what happens with guests. That finger totally destroyed.
Oh man.
He's already lost one finger. He'll be lucky if he has any fingers by the end of the run. People just grab stuff.
Yeah.
But he's wearing this harness on his back. Like,
Okay.
So he's got this thing like a backpack.
Yep.
And he's strapped into it, but all the weight's being held
That's
up
awesome.
above. So
It's not too hard on
he doesn't have any weight on him, so he can just
maneuver.
do this. But he'll do like 30 minutes on set, then we'll give him a 30-minute break. So depending on what an actor's doing, determines how much time they're on set at any given time. So this is a pretty physical thing you gotta do. So this guy gets to take a 30-minute break after every 30 minutes he's on set.
Nice.
Yeah, it keeps him fresh. Otherwise they'd be very, very tired. But this is, I love these scales. This is great.
Really cool.
I love the eyes too, because they're
You can just see
all bloodshot and rolling up back into her head.
So scary.
It's a really great piece he made.
Wow. Teeth are all bloody.
Yeah. So that's the full, we would call the final scare, and then when you leave here, you have to go through the Shrek pre-show, and there's another, and then there's another. And it's usually, and the reason behind that is when people think they're done with something, they drop their guard psychologically. They go, okay, I'm done. Nothing's going to get me now. And that's usually when we want to get you, because it's like the perfect opportunity to scare somebody.
Right. Of course.
Yeah. So that's La Llorona. Do you guys have any questions or anything I can answer for you before I start running around and getting this thing going for another minute?
No, you covered everything.
Cool.
It was awesome seeing it up close. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I think it's cool. It's cool to get a chance to see it in non-show conditions, because you get to see a lot more than you
Absolutely.
Because you go through it so fast.
would. And you're usually going through,
Yeah.
Time to take it all in. Yeah, this is amazing.
Thank you.
It really is. I've never, like I said, I've never been to a haunted house that actually.
And you're going tonight?
Yeah.
I'm doing it tonight.
For
This is
tonight.
going to be awesome.
But tonight, like Terror Tram will shut down early, so it's a school night, so they have to shut down out there. Like
9:30?
9:30,
I think it is.
Because it'd be dark.
We'll
at
go
about
see it.
10:30. So you might want to do that first. Sometimes they'll let people in early and get ready for tram, so they'll either do that. Well, actually, they'll probably do both. They'll probably make an announcement to push people to tram, and they'll also probably let people in early to go downstairs and ride Transformers right before the event starts. And if you do that, then you can pop out and hit Texas and Sound Hill right at the perfect time. So it's just a choice of what you want to see, but that's like one tip I've learned over the years is when they make those announcements, do it, because you get into the park before anybody else.
Yeah.
Sure.
And tonight it won't be like a crazy Saturday night, so be a little bit more mellow in the park.
Awesome.
Hopefully.
Really cool.
Or it could be crazy.
It's pretty
never
busy
know.
last Sunday.
Yeah.
But I think that was because of the AP event.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, actually, I have to go the other way. Yeah, that was wild. It's the first time we've ever done that.
Was it?
Yeah. And,
It's just
yeah, it's crazy. And then we'll just rip it all down. All of it's going to get ripped down in another, right after Halloween.
Yeah.
All gets ripped down, packed
Now, what
away.
is usually in this area?
It's the queue for Shrek when they're really busy during the summer.
Okay.
And they use it for overflow for Shrek, and it's pretty much where all our mazes are built. Alice Cooper's in the overflow for T2. The Walking Dead's in what used to be our Western stunt show that's not here anymore. Silent Hill is in our Mummy queue, and Texas is in our Jurassic Park queue. So this park was never really master planned. It just happened.
Right.
It's always been a movie studio downstairs, and it's been there since 1915. But the theme park started in the 60s, and it was just a tram tour originally.
Yeah.
And then as it evolved, it just kind of went all over the property, but they never had a plan.
Yeah.
They do now, but back in the old days they didn't.
Of course.
So finding room to build seasons for us is like, we're always running around going, where can we build something? Where can we build something? Sure. So they're like giant jigsaw puzzles. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing behind the scenes work. So that's lighting. That's, everything being run off of our lighting board and show control and all.
Really cool.
Have a good night, man. See you out there. Never happens.
Yeah.
There's another scare actor.
Yeah, so you're figuring me out in this daylight.